Unwrap the first of many presents this season with holidays on the house from DraftKings Casino. With hundreds of games, prizes, promos, DraftKings Casino has everything on your list. Right now, new players who play $5 get $100 instantly in casino credits. What are you waiting for? Cozy up with all the classics like slots, blackjacks, roulette, or play exclusive games that you're only going to find at DraftKings Casino to feel the holiday cheer all along. Download the DraftKings Casino app now and sign up with the promo Big Thing. Use that code Big Thing and play $5 to get $100 in casino credits. That is promo code Big Thing only at DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly, 21 and up. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. One per opt-in new customer. Minimum $5 deposit. Max match 500 in casino credits, which require one-time playthrough within 7 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. All right, guys, short episode of The Big Thing today, but as you saw, it is a non-spoiler review of Aquaman. So that's the full episode today. It's just going to be a non-spoiler review of the episode of Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. It's a sequel to the 2018 movie that did $1 billion for DC. It is the last of the DC EU. There's a non-spoiler, as I said, as it says inside of the topics itself, or the title, rather. So, yeah, we're really going to dive into it. We're going to get into the whole thing. Is it as bad as everyone's talking about? Will it make money? What does this mean for DC moving forward, if anything? So that and more on today's episode of The Big Thing. So if you're brand new to the channel, you've never been here before, help us get to 200,000 subscribers, man. We're trying to get there. So hit that button. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. All right, guys. It's The Big Thing. Let's do it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to The Big Thing here on Thursday. The embargo dropped for this movie early, around 7 a.m., in the same time that the movie came out. So that should have been a sign in the first place. One of the major signs for me is that, we go to these press screenings a lot of times, and for a lot of these movies. And so what they normally do, if they really have faith in a movie, sometimes the review embargo drops around a week. If they really love it, 2 weeks before release. And they go, yeah, start getting the word out. Get people out there so they can start buying tickets. If they don't have confidence in it, then normally a day before, 2 days before. And if they know, they got to do anything possible to keep those reviews quiet until it comes out. And then they put it on day release. So the movie, the embargo broke the day of release. So, and they didn't give +1s to people, and it was they didn't even screen it for every critic. They screened it for. I got lucky. I was appreciative that I was invited as one of the people that were allowed to see it on late last night. And then normally there's a social embargo. Usually the social embargo is lifted, and it's a review embargo. And I said, when is the social embargo lift? And they said, same time. So I was like, okay. So what are we getting into? And that's the main question. It's like, what are we getting into? And we just a dull, generic, poorly written, poorly directed film, unfortunately. And that's really the bottom line of it. It's tracking poorly. It's tracking at like 35, 40 before the reviews came out. It is already one of the, I think, the lowest rated DCEU film. It's the closing of it. They really do it. Again, no spoilers. The post-credit scene could have been something special to say goodbye to to everything because we know that James Gunn and Peter Safran are taking over and launching with Superman with the first film, really. I know Creature Commandos is the first official thing, but the movie itself is Superman Legacy in 2025. So it's like a bye-bye. See you later. Here's a post-credit scene and just one more fun thing. And the post-credit scene is really garbage. It's not funny. It's kind of gross, and it had no impact whatsoever. At least in my opinion. Now, you go to the movie itself. What is it about? Arthur is now the king of Atlantis. He's trying to be a dad, and he's trying to manage both being a king and being a dad at the same time. And how does he balance it? And then obviously something happens, and Yahya comes back as Manta, and this time he's working with Randall Park, who really dig in the MCU, but in this he's playing a watered down version of the character that he plays in the MCU, except not funny. Says things like extraordinary, amazing, wonderful, reduced to like kind of nothing. And the script, I mean, some of the dialogue, it's like everybody is talking the same way, and it's just like the worst dialogue in the prequels for Star Wars, because I think everybody talks about how the prequel dialogue is not the best, but there are moments. There's really no moments in this, and like I said, this movie shouldn't be boring. It's dull. Like halfway through it, I had closed my eyes at one point, and I considered taking a nap, but realized I couldn't do that because I'm a professional, I guess, and needed to talk to you guys about it. So that's what I did. And look, Jason Momoa is playing Jason Momoa, and that's my worry, is that's kind of what he's resting on now, right? He was so good in Dune. He was so good in Fast X. He was great in Game of Thrones. He was great as Conan the Barbarian, even though the movie stinks. He was great in it, and he can he can spin things around. He was also really good. I always forget the name of it. He did this movie with Stallone. The movie was terrible, but he does this like axe fight with Stallone at the end, and he's terrifying in it. And you can do things with this guy outside of just the surfer, cool bro dude. And it worked for the first movie. It worked for the other ones. It worked for Batman v Superman. But this one seems almost like it's like my biggest criticism with Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull is it just seems like it's just Harrison Ford. It doesn't seem like Indiana Jones. Say what you want about the last Indiana Jones movie. It did feel like Indiana Jones. This feels like it's just Jason Momoa, and he's giving it his all. He's having fun. But I don't know what the difference is between Jason Momoa and Arthur. I have no idea, and it's predictable. He's going to give a speech. It's going to be serious, but he's going to tag it with a surfer, and then a surfer gesture, and then stick his tongue out and jump in the water or something. So there's nothing really there. The thing with his son, I thought was going to be the main heart of it. Or maybe the relationship with his brother. And that was the other thing. Is Patrick Wilson is probably doing the best work out of anybody in this movie as his brother. And there is some kind of code that he holds on to. And that comes out in dialogue here and there. But for the most part, they just kind of let it go. There's other characters that they pretend they want you to care about, but they don't do any work at all to set them up at all. They don't make you care about these characters. So you have that, and then people are asking, what about Amber Heard? Yeah, she's in the movie. She's in it. She's in it more than I thought she was going to be in it, especially from the trailers. Is it marketed at her? But like her role it's not really significant what she's doing in the movie. She plays Mara, and they have a kid together, and then she shows up. You know when she's going to show up. That's the other thing. You always know when people are going to show up in this movie. And you always know when things are about to happen. You're like, oh, isn't this... Yeah, they're in peril. You're like, no, somebody's going to save the day. No, somebody's going to do that. No, they're going to say that. No, here comes the bad guy. No, you just know that it's going to happen. It's just so by the numbers, and it's not inspired at all. So, yeah, there's just so much with this movie that could have been good. But the score is good. I guess I can say that. The score, it's a good score. Same composer from the first I think it's the same composer of Narnia, if I remember correctly. But the score is good. The stuff, essentially, what the story is that Manta's still pissed off about what happened to his father, and he wants to have revenge on Arthur. So he's trying to find ways to do that. And then they stumble upon him and Randall Park stumble upon this trident, and it has mystery and wonder and whatever behind it. And then there's a bad guy who wants to do some stuff, and then he is now going to be able to take on Arthur more. And we don't know why. Actually, you don't even get to really see the Aquaman powers. You see him swimming around. He can breathe. I guess, oh, yeah, it's his powers. He can breathe underwater, and he's strong. And the other thing that doesn't work in this movie is the jokes. It's like there's so many. You can literally hear the thud of the jokes when they're coming in. It's like, oh, here we go. Here's the next joke. Here's the next joke. Here it is. Oh, that's it. So, yeah, it's just a bummer. It's just a bummer that it went out this way. And then when you look at Black Adam, well, Black Adam was last year, but still Shazam, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and now this one. They had 4 movies. None of them did well. Because I think the major part, and I'm one of the few people that liked the majority of the new stuff that came out. I didn't mind The Flash. I know the beginning is pretty bad. The CGI is terrible, and the ending's not good. But I like the Michael Keaton stuff, and I like the relationship that the Flash had with his mom. But I understand all the criticisms and get why people hate it. Blue Beetle, really dug that movie. Dug the family stuff. Did not dig the superhero stuff. Generic. And the same stuff with the Flash. Generic. This Shazam stuff, Zach Levi was playing a 12-year-old when everybody else was playing an 18-year-old. But the story was doable. It's something to catch on streaming. It's fine. And then this one. So it seems like the end couldn't come fast enough because just nothing was really working. And as I mentioned CGI for the Flash, the CGI in this one too, very video gamey. Very video gamey. And like you never really feel like you're locked into it. You're never emotionally attached. So that's the first part of this. That's the first part of the breakdown. Like, there's only so much I can say without spoiling it. We're going to do a full spoiler review with myself, Coy, Winston. Oh, well, no, Winston's not going to be able to do it because he didn't get a chance to see it. But myself and Coy will do it, and we're going to put it on Christmas. So if you want to watch the spoiler review for that, we'll have it out on Christmas. But yeah, that's really the majority of what I can say. So I want to talk about what's next for the DC universe and if this is going to hurt them at all and all that. That'll kind of close out this shorter episode of Big Thing today. But before I do, I would like to tell you about both AG1 and Rocket Money. Here you go. I always get excited when I get a chance to talk about AG1. You guys know, if you've been listening to this show long enough, you know that I've been talking about them. I've been drinking them now for, it's got to be at least 2 years. I started drinking AG1. I think Brett Sheridan told me about it. I said, you can't mess around with this, man. You got to try it. And I did. And it's a foundational nutritional supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, and immune support. Since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously refining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. I've heard so many different people now talking about it since we've been talking about it on this show and how much AG1 has helped them. I talk to you guys, a lot of you guys, when we talk to do my one-on-one sessions that I do with people that go, yeah, I started doing AG1 and I love it. It gives me the energy that I need. Parents, I found new parents love this stuff. But everybody loves it. And not only for me did I replace my multivitamin with AG1 because I was never the multivitamin guy. I would try it, and I was like, everyone's telling me, you got to do multivitamins, you got to do multivitamins. And I can't do that many vitamins. One scoop. I put it in a water bottle. I put it in a zoo cup. I shake it up. I'm good to go. I recommended AG1 to everybody, my friends, my family, you guys, and it's worked out. It's great. I get energy. I get a pep in my step. I love AG1, and you guys know how long I've been talking about it. People still, they'll tweet, and they'll X, whatever they X me, and they say, hey, AG1, you've been talking about it forever. I'm trying it today, and they never go back. AG1 is the supplement that I trust to provide the support that my body needs daily, and that's why they've been a partner for a long time now. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. But you have to go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. Drinkag1.com/bigthing. Check it out. Hey, Rocket Money. How much do you guys think that you're paying a month on subscriptions? Yeah, that's what I thought. Most people think they're $80, $82. You're right. You're paying closer to around $200. And that is why I use Rocket Money. What is Rocket Money, Kristian? Thank you for asking. I'm going to tell you, me. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending, and it helps you lower your bills. And it's all in one place. It has over 5 million users and counting. Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way. Go to rocketmoney.com/thing. That's rocketmoney.com/thing. rocketmoney.com/thing. All right, thanks to our sponsors over at AG1 Rocket Money. It's almost Christmas time, so if you can support the show, you want to support the show, and you're able to, please consider one of our wonderful sponsors. I always pin the sponsors in the first comment below, and I put it in the description. Okay. So, what does this mean overall now for the DC universe, for DC? Is it going to hurt James Gunn? Is it going to hurt Peter Safran? Because that's the thing you got to remember here. Peter Safran's name is all over this thing. It's always James. It's going to be James Wan. It's going to be Momoa that take the flack for this. You know, it'll be people didn't want to see Amber Heard. It'll be all these different conversations that'll be happening, but they don't ever really bring up the producer. Peter Safran is the co-head of DC now, and his name's all over the beginning of this movie. When you see the credits, it's Peter Safran production, Peter Safran. It's everywhere. Is that worrisome? Or is it less worrisome because they said, look, there's a lot of great stuff that Peter Safran has done, but now let's combine that with the creative brain of James Gunn. They work really well together. We had a really good guitar player that was part of a bad band, and now we got a great lead singer for him. So now, here we go. That's possible. And maybe they just click together and they realize, okay, we can actually. And maybe Peter Safran said it. It ain't working with this other team. James, please come in, help me out. Let's do it together. And maybe that's exactly what happened because this movie was done already, and it's very likely that that's exactly what happened. But the question is, to the casual viewer, right? If you're watching this show, then if you're excited about James Gunn's universe and you're excited about the new Superman movie, then the idea of these superhero movies that have come out and not done well isn't going to deter you from seeing that movie. Now, the casual viewer is another question. The casual viewer, it's going to be like, okay, well, wait a minute. The casual viewer who has only seen and doesn't, and some people don't know the difference between DC and Marvel. I know it's blasphemous, but some casual viewers don't know. They just say, oh, is that part of this? Is part of Spider-Man going to show up in there? No, it's DC. But a lot of people just don't know. Don't assume that everybody knows as much about the lore as you and I do, right? So when this movie doesn't do very well, and they go another one that ate it, and then the Ant-Man ate it, and the Marvels ate it, and then Thor: Love and Thunder wasn't great, and then Shazam, and then they're just like, I'm done. No more superheroes for me. Now Superman is different. Superman is one of these movies that we haven't had Man of Steel was what, 2012? We haven't had a single Superman movie, and really in the old school lore, Zack Snyder, and I liked the fact I like Man of Steel. I don't know where you guys stand on it, but I really like Man of Steel. But it's not traditional Superman, and I think at the time it was warranted to do that. It was good to try it, and Henry Cavill was fantastic. But we had the Brandon Routh version back in 2005. Is that when it was? 2005, and they were just trying to recreate the Christopher Reeve tone, and not the Superman tone alone. And it's like, let's see who someone who really understands Superman is going to do with this. So this, and now you have the potential merger now of Paramount and Warner Brothers, which is also comes into play massively. Because what happens now? What happens if they do make this merger? Superman is already under the microscope. It's already. It's like, okay, is this movie going to perform? Because if it performs and performs really well, then they go, look at James Gunn. He came out the gate. He said he was going to do it. He did it. This is a fantastic movie. What's next for DC? You can see everybody talking about it already. Oh, my God, this kid, David Cornsweet, he's the real deal. We didn't think anybody could do it. But, man, we wanted Henry Cavill, but he really did it. And we haven't seen a version of Lois Lane like this. And if you start hearing this stuff, I'm just saying if all the positive things happen this way, Jimmy Olsen, the way we were worried that they were going to have too much Green Lantern, but the way that they used him worked out, and the casting was good, the music was good. This is the best Superman movie, and it's part of the debate as one of the best Superman movies ever. Then DC is going to be in a very, very incredible spot. And I know what I'm saying here is not an easy task. It's almost an impossible task, but it's not an easy task at all. It's possible, but it's not it's not impossible, but it's very, very hard to achieve that in any movie, especially a Superman movie. But if you can do it, it's like being part of a baseball team that's been losing for years, but they used to be champions. And you're coming back to manage the team, and you come back and you win a championship like right away when you come back on your first like big game, or even if it's just a big game. Yeah, but if you can make $1 billion of Superman, that hasn't been done. And if that's done, it's going to change things. And Paramount, then, if Paramount does buy, is going to go, okay, James Gunn, what do you got next? Let's do it. Stick to your plan. Let's go. If it doesn't succeed, they'll throw that plan out the window. Throw that plan out the window if it doesn't succeed. I mean, maybe they try to rework stuff at Warner Brothers and say, well, maybe don't do that movie, do that movie instead, and try to do that. But if Superman does not work, James Gunn's done at DC. You can't recover from that unless you get to the Batman movie, The Brave and the Bold, if you get to that fast. So, I mean, Batman always seems to be the saving grace. So, yeah, man. Where do you guys stand on it? What do you think? Do you think that this is going to, the Aquaman, and look, there's still a possibility, as I put this show out today, there's still a possibility because the first Aquaman did $67 million in its opening weekend and wound up making $1 billion. There is an outside shot that this movie could actually make money. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Do I think it's going to lose a lot of money? I do. I don't think anybody's interested in it. I don't think we're in the heyday of the superhero genre the way we were in 2018. But there's still a shot. So I start with that. Do you think that there's a shot that it's actually going to make money? Do you think that the reviews are going to hurt it, if anything? And if it doesn't make money, will it hurt the DCU, or people aren't going to care? Because, again, it'll be almost 2 years out, or a year and a half before Superman even comes out. And the hype will be able to build, and it'll be the old regime is gone, it's buried, and now let's start it up. So what say you guys? As I said, this was a very short episode today. I just wanted to get the review out to you guys, a non-spoiler review. I'll have a spoiler review out for it. I'm going to have the spoiler review also with Coy. And then we have a lot of stuff coming up next week. I got my top 10 list. I have a top 10 TV list. I have Anticipate. I got tons of stuff on this channel. So if you're brand new to the channel, you've never been here before, subscribe to that channel right there. Do it. Thanks for joining us here today. I appreciate it. It's the big thing. And we'll see you on the flip side. Bye, guys.